Here is review of the new Kanye West album, Donda. It finally dropped. It finally came. And I see no reason to delay any of this because we have a lot to get into. The intro is pretty weird. I do not get Donda chant. I don't really like it. I don't really hate it. It's not really music, and I don't really know how to feel about it. But then we go into jail, which brings me to my biggest positive through this entire album. When did Kanye learn how to sing this well? Like, genuinely, when did Kanye learn to sing like an angel? Because he sounds so good on this album in terms of the singing. And then Jay-Z starts out slow with his verse, which, yeah, thank God Jay-Z is on this. The Baby's version is not on the album yet. I just hope it isn't for the entire time. And Jay-Z, he comes in, his verse starts out pretty slow, but it speeds up towards the end, and that's when I truly believe the song goes from good to great. God Breathe is good. Kanye has a great verse. He does well. It saves the song, kind of. Also, Vori has an okay verse. Vori pops up quite a bit on this, but this is easily his worst verse on the album. I think this is just okay in the grand scheme of things. Then we have Off the Grid. Jesus is one of the best songs on the album. This is some of the best beat switching I've heard. Because it goes from this whole playboi carti vibe track. If you're understanding, I'm reading through 4 pages worth of information. But playboi carti has a great verse, like playboi carti always does. But Fivio Foreign, when a beat switch goes into a drill beat, Fivio Foreign kills it. Like, it's one of his best verses ever. And then to top it all off, Kanye West jumps on a drill beat and it works so well. And it's also one of the best drill beats I've heard this year as well, man. Genuinely one of my favorite songs from this album. Then we have Hurricane. It's a single. I mean, wasn't really, but it's so good. The Weeknd does amazing. Lil Baby has a good verse. It may be a bit short for some people's liking, but I really like that it's short because then the song in itself shines. Kanye does a really good emotional verse here. I did not understand how emotional he could be until this, and he does great work here. Genuinely, props to Kanye West for this. Praise God. It has Donda herself starting the track, moving into a Travis Scott feature, which is really good. And Baby Keem comes in, which brings up a problem I have with this album, in that the censoring sometimes ruins full verses. Like, Baby Keem here has a good verse until sometimes the words move out and they get censored, and it, in the grand scheme of things, it's a minor problem, but it does ruin some verses quite a bit, and I don't really like that. Then we get a beat with Vori and Dirk. It's genuine 808s and heartbreaks vibe with this. Like the first word, as you will, like those vibes. It sounds exactly like that. And both do really good work here. Then we get Okay Okay. Kanye is okay, pretty coincidental. But Yachty does a really cool thing. It's very different to what he usually does. His vibe is much colder than he usually is, and I really like it. However, Ruger comes in with it's another just okay verse. There are a few of these on the album, and the censoring hits again. Yunya is a completely okay song. Probably the worst so far. But what I will say is it's kind of cool to hear Playboi Carti and Kanye West exchange bars, because that's something you'd never expect. Then we get Believe What I Say. It samples Doo Wop, that thing, by Lauryn Hill, one of my favorite songs of all time. And I say it did justice. I think it's a good palate cleanser, has a good vibe on it. Buju Banton is an interesting choice though. I still don't know if I like it or not, because there's quite a lot of dancehall features on here, and Buju Banton, he kind of falls into the worst ones. 24 is apparently a Kobe Bryant tribute, and as a basketball fan myself, I feel like this is the most Jesus King track here. But by God, does Kanye's passion really sells the song. The Sunday service obviously do well. But Kanye delivers such a passionate verse. Like, genuinely, he feels passionate and you can hear it through his voice, and it's great. Then we get remote control. It's only good for the whistling and the Young Thug feature. Where Young Thug comes in like an angel. I don't know what it is about this album, just making really weird singers come in like absolute singing gods. And then the Glub Glub Glubble Up came on. And that ruined the entire song. Because this is quite easily the worst song in the best run on the entire album. And then we get Moon. Let's talk about Moon. It's my favorite track here. And I love it so much. It's one of my favorite tracks this year. Don Toliver coming in with a great hook, as always. The guy's one of the best hooks in the game. And then you get Kid Cudi. And he sounds so impassioned, emotional. It's genuinely brilliant. One of the best songs on here. Heaven and Hell. It's a great hype song. And Kanye's scatting towards the end actually pays off on me. I think I really like the choice. Donda is a more conceptual piece with Ariana Grande, out of all people, on the hook. Though I think it does the vibe of the album pretty well in explaining what Kanye feels about his mother and how big he thinks of his mother. KC and West Side Gun give a great verse, and even Conway the Machine has a great verse. I think he does better than West Side Gun. But I'm sad that Royce da 5'9" didn't get a full verse, man. He was there for the last two lines of Kanye's verse, and I'm sad he didn't get his full verse, because I really like feature Royce da 5'9" verses. Jesus Lord. Let's talk about Jesus Lord. This is another one of the best tracks here. 8 minutes of some of the most effective stuff on the entire album. Kanye does great work. Jay Electronica delivers one of his best feature verses ever. And then we end with the son of Larry Hoover Sr., his son, who's the person Kanye was talking to Donald Trump about when he visited the White House. And it ends on such an emotional note, which is something I didn't really expect coming into this album and listening to all the listening parties. New Again is, again, just kind of okay, and I think this is where the best run of the album kind of ends. Television is just We Made It by Pop Smoke. It's easily the worst song here. It's Designer's Panda, like part 2 on T-Lop. And Lord I Need You. It's another great personal moment on the album. Roddy Ricch and Organs is the best collab on this entire album. We need to put Roddy Ricch on more organ beats. Let's be honest, this was great. Come to Life is good, but I think 5 minutes is way too long. It was kind of at point just stalling for me. And then the same problem comes to No Child Left. It comes towards the next song, and then we come No Child Left Behind. This was previewed with a clip of Sha'Carri Richardson, and I love this song. Kanye comes in like an absolute angel. He sings so well. And Vori himself as well does a great job. Okay. Now we get to the part 2s, which is something I thought I would hate coming into this, but I don't really. I think they're just remixes at the end of an album, but I still don't know how I feel about them. Okay, part 2 replaces Yachty with Shensia. And she does a good job with her whole dance hall vibe. I think she does better than Yachty, because that dance hall vibe really fits in with this beat. And then we get Yunya. I still think it's the worst song on the album, but Ty Dolla $ign does improve it. I'll give it to him. And then we get Jesus Lord Part 2, which has Locks. Yes, that's right. Jadakiss is on a Kanye West album. And it's great. Like a great ending to an album. What a great tribute to Kanye's mother. And I think this is the most emotional album he's ever released in this part of his career. And I'm gonna say it, I think this is his best album since T-Lop. And I think I'm going to give this an 8.6 out of 10. It's genuinely one of the best albums he's made in this later half. of his career.